kindly sponsored by Pace, Insituair, Humiseal, Cyber Optics, Juki, ART, Co-Young and Electrolube.
Hi, it's Claire Saunders from What's New in Electronics. I'm here with Michael Ford from Aegis, unfortunately not together at IPC Apex like we were hoping, but just catching up, just seeing what's been going on with you guys, and getting an overview of what's happening next for the business.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's great to be here. But yeah, I mean, it's a very exciting time now in the industry, actually, for people, which is always nice, because, in the last few years, we've talked about machines and optimization and smart manufacturing with all the data that the machines capture, which is, of course, very, very important. But with the recent pandemic, the focus now goes more onto the people.
Yeah.
Because we have different people in manufacturing, new people coming in. And, how should we adapt into this smart manufacturing world with these new people to work alongside the machines that we've already put into place, for example, for SMT.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I guess it's like you say, it's the human element. It's how we're going to bounce back, how we're going to come back to the normal in whichever way we can. I think we've all been so used to being remote from other people that we now need to, concentrate on this human element and how we can emphasize the humans in manufacturing. So, I mean, I know that you do a lot of work with IPC and CFX. Can you tell me a little bit more about that and how Aegis are sort of maneuvering and pushing this forward?
Yeah, the CFX side is picking up momentum, actually. We had a new version out just before the Apex show, 1.3, which includes messages for predictive maintenance and also energy management. I mean, they could have done with some of that down in Texas recently, but it's incredible, the changes that are going on, like this dependency on, variable cost of energy. And it's something that, we as the CFX team, we have to look toward what is going to be required in the next 6 months or the next 12 months and make sure that is put into the standards so that people can use it. So it's been quite an exciting time actually coming to terms with all of the stuff that's been going on and having, more time here in the office to be able to think about such things. So progress has been good.
And do you feel that, if you like, the direction's changed because of the pandemic? Do you think that there's been a sort of, because a lot of us have had to sort of take stock of where we're at, has there been a change? Do you feel that there's either more or less opportunities that have come to light because of this this situation we're all in?
Oh yeah, we've not seen the the changes yet, but I think people have begun to realize that the direction that the manufacturing has been taking over the years, where we've been endlessly changing, low cost of labor opportunities. And we've established a lot of what some people would think as quite permanent dependencies on countries where they do things, where things happen, pandemic or whether it's geopolitical things. And we all have a dependency on that. And should there be any form of disruption, and it really has massive consequences for the business.
Mm.
So there has now to be a resetting of that balance where we can encourage local manufacturing to start to, be responsible for critical items or even non-critical items and really start to look into the business case that, I personally believe is there. I mean, we've been showing for many years how smart manufacturing can really provide the edge on remote manufacturing simply because the cost of the supply chain is reduced.
Yeah.
But from being a theory, I think a lot of people are now going to be putting it into practice.
Okay. And with regard to sort of, if you take it away from IPC CFX and you look more with regard to Aegis, how have you guys sort of developed that as well? I mean, there's obviously a synergy, but is there opportunities that Aegis have also seen with regard to, because you give, you're an incredible speaker. And we all love listening to you because you're very knowledgeable. So have you seen personally things within the business that have changed sort of the aspect of what's going on?
Yeah, very much. So, I mean, working with just CFX, I've been working with a lot of the machine vendors, and these guys are really, really clever. And the technology built into the machines means that people who work in manufacturing don't need necessarily to understand every detail of old skills. So what I'm seeing within Aegis is that the focus, even in electronics, is now moving away from the SMT line.
Right.
It's moving more into the discrete side, the side that people are doing, where somebody comes to work and has to figure out what they need to do and be able to react to the changing environment that can change, minute by minute or hour by hour. So we're seeing a lot more interest in that side of things.
Okay.
And somebody told me that 80% of the pain comes from the 20% of the actual materials that are put onto a product in order to make it work, which is in fact all of that happens after SMT. So this is the huge growth area. And how do you digitalize people? How do you make them part of the smart factory? Because they are the smartest thing in the factory, actually. So why not be able to utilize what they do in a much better way?
Yeah, and it is an interesting point, because obviously, we've all been talking, like you say, for so long about machines, and there's this concern of machines taking over. But they're made because of us. Not me, but but so it's nice to sort of see the reality and see how, I guess, particularly now with the spotlight on the fact that we can't be together, how this human element has bounced into the forefront, really.
Yeah, I mean, I like to just put myself into the position of somebody working in manufacturing. Maybe it's a materials operator, an engineer, a manager, or even somebody performing an assembly. I would like to be able to go into the factory as a young person just starting out my career and be able to add value. And so, using the tools that we have today, which is, for example, using three-dimensional CAD data, because everything that we build has been designed digitally. So there is this huge reservoir of design data that we've not really been able to use in manufacturing. Putting all of that resource together with the engineering side and the manufacturing side that we provide as part of MES, we've now put all of that together so that the operator, like me on day one, simply walks up to a process and I can see exactly what I need to do. Now, nobody's had to take hours and hours and hours to prepare that data for me. They simply link to the relevant design data with the relevant bill of materials and the job that I've been assigned from the manufacturing side. And so for me, I simply log in and I do my job and I can see what I'm doing, see what I'm supposed to do. I'm not given complex instructions that I couldn't follow. So it's this kind of support and help that encourages people to come into manufacturing, because they're not learning old things that just don't mean anything or asked to be doing impossible tasks. They can use the latest technology, even the virtual reality headsets, and see all of this stuff happening. It's a much more interesting environment.
Yeah. And do you feel that this is going to encourage, because again, this is something we've discussed on many occasions, if we look at the shortage of younger people coming into the industry, if we look at the diversity in industry, do you think these opportunities will now hopefully start to encourage this to happen? Do we think that there's going to be a bit of a gap in the opportunities that are currently out there, or the thought process of people getting involved in manufacturing and engineering, really?
Yeah. There are two main things. First of all, just from my personal experience as an engineer, I was a bad engineer in that I didn't like getting my fingers dirty. Anything with oil on it or something where I could trap my fingers, no. So I went into the software side, and then an opportunity came up in manufacturing, and I loved the products, the products that were being made at the time. And this company I joined, they made the kind of products I thought were really cool. So I was really interested in finding out how to make that work, being a part of what I loved, if you like. And it's that kind of inspiration, I think, that needs to drive people, so that it's not just using your phone, it's finding out how it works and contributing to making it better. So that's one side of it. The other side of it is that the roles within manufacturing have changed so much. And there is an old guard in place at the moment that has learned everything from the ground up over the last 30 years. I mean, me included. But the use of the latest machines and software technology, you don't need to be an expert in these core low-level kind of things anymore. you can start to utilize things that have been created for you, how to use the machines to their best ability, how to utilize the software in the best possible way, how to make sense and put all of this data together and create the environment which makes everybody's life easier. So if you think about the operator of old, all of that boring kind of stuff that they needed to do to find their own data and translate it and all the rest of the stuff, take that away and just focus on the interesting things, the creative part, because manufacturing is creative. And, where you're able to do many, many different things because you don't have this burden of base skills that are irrelevant now. You can start to go on and utilize new technologies. It's an environment that younger people are going to want to get into because, there's an art in manufacturing. But for people who are more technical than being artists, this is a fantastic balance of the two disciplines.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I think again, we've said it for a while, we know that youngsters are all about the technology, but it's just getting them to be part of the next generation because, they're the ones who are using it constantly and they're the ones who know what they want, know what the next step is that they need, and they could be at the forefront of making it, which is a fantastic opportunity and a fantastic place to be. So
yeah, and they will make a great part of the team because you have the older guys with all the wisdom and experience, but slightly challenged on using new technologies, and then you have the new people coming in who find the new technologies, easy to do that, but they lack that basic skill. You put the two together, you've got the winning formula.
Really have, yeah.
So that is what people are looking for right now in order to accelerate and differentiate themselves for the future post-COVID, post all of these other issues that have driven people to look at manufacturing onshore, to say, well, look, this may have seemed to have been an impossible thing to do, but I've got the right tools now. And with the right tools, we will succeed because we're all going to go back to our good or bad habits that we had, buying too much, using too much, wanting too much. We're all, the demand is going to return. And it's the people who are there to satisfy the demand who are going to be the winners.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It's been almost like a full stop of the world in many ways, isn't it? But so many things have developed and so many people have been very innovative and we've all learned to adapt without having any idea that we were going to. I mean, considering we were all together this time last year in the US and it was just, wasn't really on anybody's radar. So yeah,
it's true. I mean, it's a good lesson to learn from manufacturing. If people can adapt from, being the way we were and having to be locked down for pretty much the best part of a year, if we can adapt as people, how does manufacturing now adapt to the new trends of the demands from customers for local manufacturing, fashionable manufacturing, made to measure, but with the same efficiency as mass production? All of these kind of trends, they can be satisfied if we are adaptable.
Yeah. And
we've proven we can be, so let's apply it to our work.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, well, so I mean, from if you want to say, looking at a vision moving forward, what do you see? What do you see next? What do you see are the benefits that you've received from this human manufacturing, this situation, and the key things that you're working on? What's the next step, if you like, for you? Where do you see opportunities? Where do you see challenges?
The opportunities are going to come where everything becomes much more interoperable. This is going to be the key word for the future. So that we've already seen silos being broken down on the shop floor with the exchange of data between machines and the realization that everybody benefits. It's not like somebody's compromising to give somebody else an edge. Everybody benefits. And so as you start to become more sophisticated with that, looking at the IPC's new digital twin, for example, where you have interoperability across the silos of supply chain, manufacturing, and even out into the market, you begin to realize that you've got so much opportunity now to start to put things together, the data, the information that you need to improve design, for example, got feedback mechanisms to design. All of that builds a whole new digital world where the creativity is based on that digital domain. And it happens so much faster than it's ever done before. So I see, as a result of this, the acceleration now. I mean, it's going to be like the roaring 20s again. We're going to be seeing so many changes which are going to be in terms of people's wants and needs, different kinds of products. The circular economy is going to become extremely important. People are going to want to care for the environment. They're going to want products that last. They're going to want greener, more efficient products. They're going to want products to be made more efficiently with the use of renewable energy, etc. Whereas all of these things were coming, it was like sometime. Now they're coming, and it's going to be soon, very, very soon. So we're going to see a lot of acceleration of those kinds of things fueled by this digital manufacturing and the human intelligence within manufacturing, not just the artificial intelligence. They put the two together to make that final result happen.
That's good. That's good. And something that I think would make a lot of people happy, and, you know, and alleviates a lot of people's concerns as well about, you know, the focusing too much on the digital and forgetting about the human side. So that's really encouraging.
Absolutely right. Yeah, we need to see that being developed going forward. And, you know, we've talked about it a little bit, but it's going to happen right now. So we've got to get ourselves ready, you know.
Yeah. Well, I'm ready again. I'm ready for the human element of life to come back. I've got to be honest.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, we're looking forward to whenever that may be, and hopefully very soon.
Yes, I hope so. Yeah. Well, you know, globally, you know, obviously it's been traumatic and, you know, devastating, but it's, you know, we're finally looking like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So we made it this far. So, not long left, and hopefully we'll all be together in Germany at the end of the year. That's sort of a target we're aiming for, in whichever form it will be, you know.
Yeah, we will see, and we'll keep our fingers crossed.
That's it. Yeah, we might all be in, you know, plastic suits, but, you know, get there.
Or in one of those big, plastic balls, you know, running around like a hamster. You know.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us. Hopefully, we've covered everything that you wanted to talk about. And again, you know, I thank you for your time, because it's always so interesting listening to you and understanding, you know, what you're doing and what you're helping develop and push forward.
Oh, thank you very much. It's my pleasure. Nice to talk to you.
And we'll catch up very soon.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Cheers. Thank you, Michael.